What's up, you guys? Nihilistic Mystics Film Group here. Welcome to Nightmare Archives, where we dive into the dark and twisted worlds of your favorite horror icons. But here's the twist. These aren't the stories you already know. Each week we'll be taking iconic villains, bringing you fresh fan-made tales that explore new depths and hidden horrors you've never seen. In every episode, we'll take a deep dive into a different villain's legend, giving them a new backstory, a fresh setting, sequel, or even an alternate ending to their terrifying legacy. These stories are crafted with one goal in mind: to reignite the fear, the mystery, and the chilling allure that makes horror villains unforgettable. If you're a fan of classic horror but crave something original, settle in, dim the lights, and prepare yourself for a journey into the shadows you've never explored. Welcome to Nightmare Archives. Tonight's Nightmare Archive story brings you a twisted new chapter in the legacy of Michael Myers. This isn't your typical sequel to the 1978 Halloween. There's no Dr. Loomis, no Laurie Strode. In this tale, Michael has escaped Haddonfield, but doesn't disappear into the usual suburban shadows. Instead, he finds himself in an isolated, cult-like Amish village, where the locals believe he's their prophesied figure, a dark harvester they've awaited for generations. Here, we'll see how Michael's mere existence warps the lives and minds of those around him, making him not just a killer, but an almost supernatural force. So you'd think you've seen every side of Michael Myers? Buckle up, because this story is as much about the fear he inspires as it is about the terror he creates. In the dead of night, Michael Myers slips into the shadows, his relentless breathing masked by the echo of wailing sirens, frantic screams trailing back in Haddonfield. Blood-soaked and tireless, he moves silently beyond the town's borders, drawn by an almost primal force into the rural outskirts. The light of the moon filters through skeletal branches as he wanders into a dense forest that yields only to a small, secluded village. Unbeknownst to Michael, this village is an isolated Amish community, harboring secrets darker than the woods themselves. At the village center stands a towering figure, an imposing wooden effigy carved to resemble a masked harvester with hollow eyes, holding a scythe above its head. To the elders of this community, the effigy is a symbol of their god, the harvester, an entity that demands seasonal offerings to protect them from outsiders. When Michael emerges, cloaked in darkness and stained with blood, they see their prophecy made in flesh. The villagers gather, awestruck, convinced that their deity has finally come to life. Michael's arrival is met not with fear, but with reverence. Elder Jacob, the patriarch of the village, steps forward and kneels. The others follow, offering Michael their silent allegiance. Confused but unopposed, Michael drifts into the village's embrace, an unknowing God in their eyes. Without speaking, without acknowledging their devotion, he lets them guide him to a small house on the edge of town, where a blood-soaked garment is placed around his shoulders, a crude robe made from the skins of past sacrifices. As dawn breaks, Michael stands in the center of the village, surrounded by the worshipful eyes, dark and hollow. Each villager wears a mask of their own design, handmade from animal skulls, bark, and twisted vines. The villagers, whose lives have been steeped in silence and obedience, now embody the twisted ritual that has been passed down through generations. They see Michael as their harbinger, assigned to commence the annual reaping, an event where outsiders who wander too close are sacrificed to appease their god. A group of unwitting hikers stumbled across the village, hungry and lost. They are drawn to the faint smell of smoke from mourned faces hidden beneath their handmade masks. Guided into the village center, the hikers quickly realize the unsettling nature of their hosts. But before they can act, Michael, silent and unrelenting, appears among them, and the villagers, parting like a dark sea to reveal their god. Without hesitation, he strikes. Over the following days, Michael is given free rein. The village feeds him, clothes him, cleans him. After each blood-soaked ritual, as he kills, the villagers witness it as an act of divine reaping, a blessing that ensures their own survival. For them, Michael is a silent force and an unholy being to worship and fear. The village's children are taught to sing hushed hymns, songs in praise of the masked harvester who walks among them. The entire community drifts into a state of rapture, entranced by their ritual God who needs no words, only blood. But not all the villagers remain under his thrall. A young woman named Ada, the daughter of Elder Jacob, grows wary. Unlike the others, she senses something deeply wrong with the harvester. To her, Michael's presence is a curse, a sickness festering in their land. One night, she sneaks into the woods, hoping to find a way to stop him, even if it means leaving everything she has ever known behind. In the final days of harvest, As the villagers prepare its final ceremony, Ada returns, flanked by a group of outcasts who were exiled long ago for rejecting the cult's rituals. Armed with farm tools and the courage of the banished, they storm into the village, disrupting the ceremony. Panic ripples through the villagers, and Michael, sensing the challenge, raises his knife. A brutal clash ensues in the middle of the village. Fires break out, and masked villagers turn on one another in the chaos. In the end, Ada, bruised and bloody, manages to stab Michael in the chest, pushing him into a pit meant for the final sacrifices. As flames begin to engulf the village, the cult's chants fade to silence, replaced by the crackling of fire. When morning comes, only ashes and smoldering ruins remain. There is no trace of Michael, and the villagers who survived are scattered, too afraid to return. The tale of the harvester will live on, whispered in fear and caution, as the surrounding towns wonder what dark god they unwittingly unearthed, and if it still roams the ruins, waiting to be reborn. And that's a wrap for this chapter of Nightmare Archives. Remember, the shadows are never empty. They're just waiting for the right story to bring them to life. Until next time, stay curious, stay cautious, and keep an eye out for the things that go bump in the night. Sleep tight if you can.